Our friend Congressman Jamie Raskin, who's been a guest on this program, says that Donald Trump will likely end his life behind bars. This I have to see because I have a very, very difficult time believing that. Newsweek reports Trump likely to be indicted will end life, quote, behind bars, Congressman says. Former President Donald Trump will likely be indicted and spend the rest of his life behind bars, Representative Jamie Raskin said on Saturday. Raskin is a Maryland Democrat and served on the House Select Committee investigating the Capitol riots. The panel spent months probing Trump's role in the insurrection. Okay. Raskin reflected about the significance of the report issued by the committee during an appearance on Yahoo News' Skullduggery podcast Saturday. The Democratic lawmaker said he, quote, would be surprised if Attorney General Merrick Garland did not indict Trump for his alleged role in the riot, adding that it's so clear that the president intended to interfere with the election certification. Raskin went on to say, I do think it's very, very important that we establish that it's not just foot soldiers, but kingpins who are prosecuted, and that it's just wrong to send hundreds of foot soldiers to jail and leave the very clear kingpin unprosecuted. He added that Trump could spend the rest of his life in prison if he's convicted on January 6 charges. There's just deep culpability from the very beginning in everything that Donald Trump did. I'm very serious about him facing the consequences and paying for the cost of his action. He could spend the remaining days of his misanthropic life behind bars, presumably with Secret Service agents. I would love for Jamie Raskin to be correct here. I really would. The blatant criminality and flouting of the law by Donald Trump is absolutely stunning and appalling. And we hope that the safeguards we have in place are actually robust and strong enough that they can hold someone like Donald Trump accountable. I would love for Jamie Raskin to be right that accountability is going to be prison time. I don't think that it is. And again, it goes through, let's think through the steps. First step is Donald Trump has to be indicted. Hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will. Great. Trump gets indicted. Next step is, does it even go to trial? Or is Trump, as a former president who will have the best of the best legal advice, going to strike a deal and make a deal, either where he doesn't have to admit to any guilt, but he pays fines, or he has to plead guilty to something minor, and the consequence of jail time, prison time, is not even on the table. If you get beyond that and you say, okay, he's going to have to go to trial, and it's going to include the possibility of a prison sentence. How do you get a jury to fairly evaluate a former president's actions? I don't know who you can find that wouldn't bring a strong preconceived notion and preconceived opinion about Trump's guilt or innocence. And by the way, as I've said before, if you can find people who really have no opinion, I would wonder where they've been for the last 6 years and whether these are even really the people competent enough to serve on a jury, although it's a jury of your peers. I understand everybody gets to serve. So how do you even put a jury together? If you then get a guilty verdict that sticks, that doesn't get appealed, there may not necessarily be prison time. And if there is a guilty verdict, and if there is prison time, and Trump gets sentenced, older, wealthy folks, close to 80 years old, with prison sentences, use every possibility available to them, every health issue that they have, and argue for house arrest instead of actual prison. So I believe that if everything went perfectly, indictment, serious charges, conviction, sentencing that even includes prison time, I think you get a suspended sentence, or at the very, very worst for Trump, you get home confinement. So I know he's Mr. Perfect Health, 6'3", 239, healthiest president ever. I assure you, that will be a very different story painted about his health if all of a sudden prison is on the table. And I would bet anything that Trump doesn't see a day in a jail or prison cell. If you disagree with me, I want to hear from you. I just don't see it.